If you've been following me for a while, you've probably noticed a lack in Destiny 2 content lately. While I've still been playing the game regularly, my playtime has definitely been cut back, and I haven't felt as motivated to make content on the game as I used to. This seems to be a pretty common sentiment in the D2 community right now. A lot of players are taking a step back from the franchise and sinking less time into it than they normally do. There are a lot of reasons that contribute to this burnout, but one sticks out like a sore thumb. The seasonal model was once praised for groundbreaking seasons like Opulence and Arrivals, but now it's under more criticism than ever. Disconnected stories, lack of innovation, and lower loot incentive have all contributed to this downfall. Today, we're discussing all of these downfalls. We'll be detailing exactly where seasons have failed over the last few years and take note on where episodes really need to improve. If one specific complaint about the seasonal model is most common, it's definitely that of drip feed. Players are tired of checking in every Tuesday for their weekly story drops, and they've been saying so for literal years. It's one thing if the drip-fed content is good, give me an emotional story beat or a fun activity to do and I can at least tolerate it. However, when my quest for the week looks like this, yeah, you're starting to lose me. Which leads into my next point. Seasonal content, with a few exceptions, has been subpar at best for a while now. Every now and again we get a really fun and innovative activity like deep dives or the coil, but those instances are far and few. More often than not, we receive a copy and paste 3 to 6 man match-made arena activity. While mechanics slightly vary from activity to activity, they're all essentially the same on paper. Kill enemies, go to the next room, kill more enemies, complete an objective, go to the next room, fight a boss, etc. That's not all. On multiple occasions, we've played seasonal content that's just reskinned or reused missions from other expansions. For example, Season of Plunder reskinned old lost sectors that are no longer accessible, and Season of the Wish blatantly reused an old Forsaken mission as one of our quest steps. Seasonal quests in general have also been throwing in pretty mundane tasks lately. I'm not sure what the exact reasoning behind this is, but it really kills the pace of a season. There's nothing I dread more than finding out I have to go run blind well, lost sectors, or kill a certain number of patrol enemies before I can progress the story. Loot is another hot button issue depending on who you ask. Many will tell you that crafting killed their loot chase, and while I don't necessarily agree, I can understand a lot of their points. Crafting can really kill that excitement of stumbling onto a random drop god roll, and it makes obtaining random loot an arbitrary thing. On top of that, story content itself has been on a downward spiral since Beyond Light. If you ask me, Lightfall hasn't had a single good story from a narrative standpoint. We got close a few times, but I wouldn't call much of it good. Hell, I'd say the same of Witch Queen. Seraph was okay at best, but everything else was pretty unremarkable. This problem has one big root. Destiny loves to tell instead of showing. In storytelling, show don't tell is a really important writing technique. Writing is more effective when stories, characters, and emotions are told through action and sensory detail instead of just exposition. If you've ever played a seasonal story in Destiny 2, you know they love to exposit. Take a look at this, for instance. This is a list of quest steps from week 6 of Season of the Wish. 5 of the 8 steps for this week are listening to characters and conversations. Everyone just tells us how they're feeling. It's never shown to us in a meaningful or effective way. Seasons are an awkward time to enter the game for a few reasons, both from a narrative standpoint and a gameplay standpoint. Put yourselves in the shoes of a new player. You've been liking the game from a free-to-play standpoint, so you decide to try out the current season. Understanding this season in the context of the whole game is pretty difficult for a new player. Not only is all of the previous content not available in the game, but even if it were, it wouldn't be a great progression as to how we got to where we are now. Beyond any narrative dissonances, however, the price tag of seasons is a completely separate issue. It costs 1,200 silver to purchase an individual season, an amount of silver that cannot be purchased. You could purchase 1,000 silver, or you could purchase 1,500 silver, but not 1,200. You can't even buy 100 at a time to get yourself up from 1,000 to 1,200. Bungie cited that this increase of season price would go towards seasonal quality, and whether or not you think seasonal quality has increased or decreased, you can't deny that it's a scummy business practice to make players pay more than what the season is advertised as costing. Alright, now that we've talked about the failures of the seasonal model, let's debrief. Where do episodes need to improve? Firstly, the drip feed model needs to go away, or at least needs a serious rework. I believe that content for episodes will drop over 3 6-week periods, and I think the real issue is how much content will be in those drops. In my opinion, whatever is planned for each 6-week period should be dropped right at the start of it. Don't make your players wait to play the content they paid for. Secondly, the content itself has to be of higher quality. Stories need to show instead of telling, and activities need to have more distinct identities from one another. Reused content has got to go, and so do garbage quest steps. Finally, keep loot and loot structures fresh. The coil is a great example on this. You're right on track. If you put good loot in challenging but accessible activities, your players will grind it out, I promise. Episodes have so much potential to live up to. We've seen mid-year content succeed before, we know it's possible. And at this point, we've given all the feedback we have to give. The ball is in Bungie's court now.